Okay.
Oh,
Um, Hi, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to this evening's presentation, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about the performing arts at Bergen Catholic High School. My name is Barbara Peraino, and I sort of oversee the performing arts. We have three ensembles performing at Bergen Catholic. We have the men's vocal ensemble, which I direct. We have the jazz band, which Mr. Peter Furlan directs. And we have the chamber ensemble directed by Mr. Charles Doherty. I think something that's important to know is that each one of the instructors have been performers. So we approach our ensembles differently than just a classroom activity. Mr. Doherty was the valedictorian of his class at Bergen Catholic. He's a noted bass player, an arranger, a composer, and performs actively in North Jersey and New York still to this date. Mr. Furlan also is an active performer. He's a phenomenal saxophone player. He directs many jazz groups and is seen in jazz clubs throughout northern New Jersey and New York regularly. Myself, I was an opera singer and performed regularly. I had a very big career before I started teaching. I made my debut in Belgium in the title role of Cinderella. I sang at the Paris Opera, the New York City Opera, numerous philharmonic orchestras throughout the country. And when I ended my career singing, I decided what better thing to do than to share what I love best with students. So I began a teaching career. This is my ninth year at Bergen Catholic. I spent 34 years directing choral organizations in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And when I came to Bergen Catholic, there was really no vocal activity whatsoever. So we started a group, and we had 7 young men. We called them the Magnificent Seven. Believe me, they were not magnificent. They were very, very ambitious, but to be honest with you, they couldn't sing Twinkle Little Star in one line. We had a great deal of fun and a lot of rehearsing, trying to get them to match pitches. Since that time, we have developed a wonderful choral program at Bergen Catholic. We have 32 members in our vocal ensemble. They come from all the different classes and they perform regularly at our concerts. They perform at masses. They perform at sporting events. They perform in competition. Unfortunately, this year we were not able to go to competition to Hershey Park, but wherever we perform, we are very, very, very proud of their performances and they get rave reviews. To be a member of the performing organizations at Bergen Catholic, you have to be committed. You have to make a commitment to the organization because it is like an elective. You will get 2 credits for participating in either the jazz band, the chamber ensemble, or the vocal ensemble. You will also get a letter grade twice a year, midterm and at the end of the year. You will not have that grade affect your GPA, but it will appear on your transcript. So it's important that you take that into consideration if you're considering joining one of our organizations. You don't need to audition because we train as professionals anyone who has the desire. If you have the desire to sing and perform, if you have to play an instrument, we will take you to where you want to be. That's our job. Your job is to show up, be attentive, be dedicated, and enjoy the music that you make. We have many other things that we do in the performing arts group. We do run an all-male choral festival, and this past year we hosted the festival. That festival included the men's choirs from 5 Catholic schools in the area, and we were the hosts. We started it 6 years ago, and this past year we rehosted it again. Thankfully, it happened on February 1st before the pandemic, so we were able to get our performance in. We also, and I'm going to let Ryan talk about this in a few minutes, brought Broadway back to Bergen Catholic. We have many students who are interested in the theater. They love to perform, they want to perform, and we finally brought Broadway back in full performance this past year by doing the show All Shook Up. We perform at the Hackensack Center for the Performing Arts. It's a beautiful little theater, fits our needs perfectly, and anyone in the school is welcome to audition. We absolutely love to have anyone audition. This year's show was a great success. We have already booked next year's show. I do not know what it's going to be, but Ryan will tell you more about how this whole thing came about. We also have something for the parents, and that is called Bergen Goes to Broadway. This is another opportunity for to be part of the Bergen family, to be part of the Bergen community. It's really started opening for the boys. We wanted to take them to Broadway and give them a taste of what life is like outside of the walls of Bergen Catholic and to see what performers do on a real stage in New York City. However, it seems that the parents are more interested than the boys. So now we have parents, alumni, faculty, students, and what we do is we go into New York, we go to Tony DiNapoli's for dinner. It's a fabulous Italian restaurant. We have a wonderful dinner. We go to the theater. The bus takes you home, drops you off at Bergen Catholic, and it's a phenomenal evening. This year, unfortunately, we had to cancel West Side Story. That was supposed to be in March. And we were supposed to see Hamilton this past month. We had to cancel that. Well, we didn't cancel it. The show, Broadway's not open, so we cannot possibly go. I also want to say that as far as Broadway goes and City as a classroom, we also take the sophomore class to Broadway shows. And this year they saw Come From Away, and last year they saw To Kill a Mockingbird. Every student in the sophomore class was given the opportunity to go see a Broadway show at no cost to them. So we like to expose the boys to the arts outside of Bergen Catholic and hope that they'll have a real active interest while at Bergen Catholic. I have to say that when I came to Bergen Catholic, after teaching in Elizabeth for 34 years, I felt like I died and went to heaven. And they talk about the brotherhood. They talk about the brotherhood at Bergen Catholic and how strong it is. Well, the boys that are involved in the performing arts really do form a special bond. These boys stick together, and it always amazes me when we do our spring concert how many of them come back to sing with the choir. It's a beautiful experience. It's a wonderful experience. And before I started teaching at Bergen Catholic, and I will say this quite frankly, the boys had no knowledge of what choral music was all about. They couldn't read music. They didn't know what notes looked like. They had no idea, most of them. There were a few that were educated in that vein, but not too many. And over the years, I always said to them, don't stop singing. Don't stop performing. Because when you go to college, and even beyond college, music is going to be a staple in your life. It will be a staple. And I am so thrilled to say that over the years that I have been at Bergen Catholic, so many of my boys are singing in their college choirs. I have 2 that are graduating, 3 that are graduating, 4 that are graduating this year that have sung in their college choirs and have had very active careers. I have Kyle Garino from Villanova. We have Nico Palladino at Harvard. We have Charles Sabatieri at Catholic University. We have Ryan, who's going to talk to you, didn't graduate, but just became a member of the Boston College Choral and just came back from a fabulous trip to
Austria.
To Austria, and had a wonderful time there. So it's not just a commitment for Bergen Catholic. It's a commitment for life, really, because music is so very important, and especially in times like this. I always say the academics feed the mind, athletics feed the body, but music and the arts feed the soul. And what are you without a soul? I think music is the most comforting thing, and I feel that it's my pleasure and my privilege to share with the young men of Bergen Catholic my love for music. I can't say that they'll become professional musicians. That's not the goal. My goal is to give them a lifelong appreciation of what music can do for them and what an important part it can play in their life, whether they're playing in a jazz band, whether they're playing a pickup combo, or they're doing a recording studio, or whether they're singing in a semi-professional choir. I hope that I will see you all at Bergen Catholic. And as I said, not only is it a brotherhood, but for me, it's really a familyhood, because the families that become part of the performing arts, and we do have a performing arts parents club, which is very active, we become family, and we stick together, and we care about each other. And I think that you're going to find that through the arts, it's no different. Well, I look forward to seeing you, and I'm going to turn it over to Ryan. And then if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
All right, I guess that means it's my turn. So, hello everybody. My name is Ryan Kitz. I'm an alumni of Bergen Catholic, a member of the class of 2019. I'm currently a rising sophomore at Boston College, double majoring in computer science and theater. I'm also, as Mrs. Peraino said, a member of the University Chorale of Boston College under the direction of John Finney, as well as the chamber singers of Boston College. And besides that, I'm I've done different shows and involved in the theater department there, things like that. But I'm here to talk to you about what my experience was like as a student at Bergen Catholic. So while I was at Bergen Catholic during my 4 years, I was a member of the men's vocal ensemble with Mrs. Peraino as a tenor. And I was also involved in numerous different theater shows, from different musicals, Little Mermaid, 42nd Street, Into the Woods, things like that. So I was very involved in that. And I'm also partially responsible for bringing back the theater program, the drama program, to Bergen Catholic to have their own. And I'll get into that in a little bit later. But first I'm going to talk about my experience as a member of these groups and different things. I was also on the bowling team, of the captain of the varsity team my senior year. So that's just to show, like, you can still pursue the performing arts and do all the other things that Bergen has to offer. You don't need to limit yourself to one thing at Bergen. They have so many different variety of things that you can really explore all your interests to your heart's content. But as Mrs. Peraino was saying earlier, something special happens in the performing arts that I don't think happens in any other activities or academics, and that is you come together with a lot of different people, and you really learn to collaborate and trust these other people to create beautiful things, whether it be music, shows, performance. You really learn to express your emotions in a healthy and beautiful way with other people. And that experience of creating something like that together through the performing arts creates a bond between people that runs much stronger, much deeper than I think a lot of people may realize. That happens especially well at Bergen Catholic, where some of the people I performed with in the vocal ensemble, I got to know super well. I'm still friends with them to this day. Even if I'm a couple states away, I still talk to them regularly, and I still consider them some of my closest friends. And I don't think that's ever going to change, because the things you experience together with them in putting on these shows and doing these performances can be life-changing for you. And it really not only helps you build ties with other people, but also helps you explore yourself, and it lets you learn a lot about yourself through these experiences. It really is an amazing way to meet people, to get close to people, and it really does become more like anything else I've ever experienced, like a family to me. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about drama and what I was able to do for the drama department at Bergen Catholic. So a quick little history lesson for context is that Bergen Catholic, before 2018 to 2019, didn't have its own theater program per se. What we would do is boys who are interested in drama at Bergen Catholic would go to other all-girls schools to perform their shows, whether it was Immaculate Heart Academy, Academy of the Holy Angels, or particularly Immaculate Conception High School, which we co-produced with them. But at the other schools, other boys' schools would also participate too, Don Bosco, St. Joseph's. And it was a great way to meet people and be part of drama, but it was never really our own. And I wanted, throughout my years, to see Bergen Catholic bring that back for itself. Because we had a stage and we never used it. So in the summer of my junior and senior year, I reached out to Mr. McElhaney saying, I want to bring back the theater to Bergen Catholic itself. I want us to have our own program on our own stages with our own students and bring it all together for ourselves. And through a lot of hard work from a lot of different people, we were able to make that happen. And I did say earlier I was partially responsible for this, and that's a point I want to bring up, is that I did not do this alone by any stretch of the imagination. I initiated the first idea of it, but after that, the faculty and staff, Dr. Mahoney, Mr. McElhaney, Mrs. Peraino, and so many other people at Bergen and beyond all came together to help me and help us bring this dream to life. So I think something important to realize is that even if you want to be ambitious and go for all these big risks and things you don't even know you'll be able to accomplish, you will always have the support of this Bergen Catholic community to help you achieve those dreams. Even people who weren't even into musical theater to begin with came and saw the show and supported the show. Dr. Mahoney himself made a guest appearance on our first performance of this and came up on stage and sang with us. The amount of support you can get when you really try and achieve your dreams at Bergen is phenomenal. And a lot of different schools like to compare themselves to Hogwarts in one way or another. It's a classic tradition that everybody loves to do. But I'd say if I had to choose one thing from Hogwarts that I'd apply to Bergen, it's the line that says, what is it exactly? It's help will always come to anyone at Hogwarts, to those who asks for it. And I think that's the most powerful line there that could apply to Bergen, because if you look for help to try and achieve these goals, you're going to find it. Everybody's there is to help you, support you, to bring you up. And I think that is what's so special about the brotherhood, is that, and what it means to me a lot of the time, is that when you go through high school and when you go through life, you never have to do any of that alone. And I think that is one of the most important lessons that the brotherhood taught me. And also being able to create this dream of mine that I wanted to bring back just goes to show, for as much that as Bergen gives you in terms of opportunity and education, you can give just as much back to it. And if you really want to make your impact and mark on this school in your own way, whether it's in the performing arts or somewhere else, you can do that. And people will support you through that. And you can really help change this school, because this school, this community is always growing. We're always adding new people, new crusaders, new brothers. We're always expanding the campus, making things better with what we already have. And the performing arts, I think, is the best example of how much things can grow. Just 9 years ago, I think it was about right, we had nothing here. And now we have hundreds of kids all coming to like see these shows, to support these actors, to be part of something that is really, really special. And I think that goes to show that you can really become a part of this constantly changing and constantly developing community at Bergen Catholic. And that is something that I think is irreplaceable and you won't find anywhere else.
And I would just like to add something. When Ryan came to me with the idea of building a theater program, I thought, oh my goodness, this can't be real for real. So I asked him to write a perspective, and he did. And it was amazing, the detail that he came back with about as far as lighting and scenery and costumes and all those areas that have to fit together. So not only does a Broadway show, involve performers, it involves the backstage crew. It involves people building sets. It involves people getting costumes. It involves so many different aspects of the arts that come together in a magical production. And believe me, our production was magical. It was phenomenal. And I will say that we are on schedule this year for February 4th through February 7th at the Hackensack Performing Arts Center. I do not know the show yet. We haven't had a chance to choose that, but I'm sure it will be announced as soon as we know. And I did not mention one other thing about the performing arts. We are also, because we are graded and credited, we are also members of the Tri-M National Music Honor Society. So every student who is in a performing organization and keeps a grade level of A- in that performing organization can apply to become a member of the Tri-M National Music Honor Society. And those students are inducted into that society on the same evening that the students are inducted into all the academic and national honor societies at that particular ceremony. It's a beautiful ceremony. And when they graduate, of course, they get a cord too to wear, just like the other honor societies. And I neglected to mention that. And I think that's an important aspect of it, because it shows that we're very serious about where we want to take the performing arts. And I really look forward to meeting all of you in person. I look forward to seeing you, hearing your experiences of what you've done in your middle schools. So many of you I know play instruments, and so many of you are part of a performing organization, whether it be vocal, whether it be theatrical, whether you want to work behind the scenes. And I can't wait to meet you. I hope that happens sooner rather than later. So again, if any of you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
So as a couple of people start to think of some questions, one of the first things I think I'll ask kind of for the group and for the people who will be watching this is, how do students get started if they are interested in the arts, especially our incoming students? How do they sign up? How do they get involved? What's the first thing they'll get involved with?
Well, We usually have, for the choral program, we have a boot camp, and the boot camp is in August. It's 3 days of rehearsal, and we do send out information to all the incoming freshmen announcing the opening of the boot camp. It's totally voluntary. You come from 9:30 to maybe noon, and we serve bagels and donuts and juice and goodies. We want to feed you as well as have you sing. You get to meet the members of the performing organization, and we teach you at least our alma mater and maybe start rehearsing one of the other pieces that we'll be working on, and you get a feel for whether this is something you'd like to do. And then we announce our very first rehearsal, which happens usually the first week of school. And if you're interested in becoming a member of any of the performing organizations, you attend that first rehearsal. Also, you can always email Mr. Furlan, Mr. Doherty, or myself and let us know of your interest and ask any of your questions. And believe me, we will answer you immediately, if not sooner. So if Mr. Rosa could include our email addresses to these students, I think that's a big way to get started.
And I personally highly recommend doing the choral boot camp because that was the first experience I had ever at Bergen Catholic before I even got to the school for before my freshman year. This was before the school year started. Instantly, all of the chorale members made me feel at home and very welcoming, and you get to know so many people just in that first week. It was an incredible experience, so highly recommend.
Thank you, Ryan.
I think the most important thing too when getting involved, especially with the arts and for this specific topic, is that gives you an opportunity to really meet your future classmates before you even step in the building. I say the same thing about some of our fall sports opportunities, but this is another very unique opportunity for students to get that opportunity to meet the students that they're going to be going to school with before they even come in the building in such a unique and intimate way. I've seen some of their rehearsals. I've seen the boot camp live in action when I'm in the building, and it is a ton of fun. So to give my perspective on the arts, we did not have it at all really when I was a student, and it's not that long ago. I graduated in 2008, so it was about 3 years after I graduated where it really got started. Our choir for Mass was about 6 kids and 2 faculty members. And to see what it has become now, it really is amazing the strides that we've taken in the arts over the last 9 years to think where it's going to go the more we do this.
Thank you. And I will say that the Mass choir, I always tell the boys, they're in the vocal ensemble. They have to go to Mass anyway. So why should you not sing? It's a beautiful opportunity to share your talent and praise God at the same time. And I think it's very important that the boys perform at Mass, and they do. It's lovely. They rehearse right before the Mass starts, half an hour, 40 minutes. It's music that they are rather familiar with and often repeated at different Masses. So it's a lovely opportunity for them to, again, I encourage them to sing whenever they can, wherever they can, as often as they can, because that's how you improve.
Okay, before we conclude, does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask? Okay, well, thank you everyone for being here. If we can kind of have both of you just kind of close with what is one thing that you've loved about your experience with Bergen Catholic's Performing Arts, and what's one thing you're most excited about seeing in the future?
Do you want me to start, or do you want to start, Mrs. Peraino?
Go ahead, Ryan.
I'll start. Okay. So it's one thing, like my favorite thing from being at Bergen, and then my favorite thing looking to the future. Right. My favorite thing being at Bergen is definitely it's going to sound like, the generic answer that everybody gives, but the community outside of the classroom, not just inside, is phenomenal. I always felt like, if you ask anybody who I went to school with, I was always staying like late into the night. I would always be at Bergen, even if nobody else was. I'd be there early in the morning. And even at those times, you still find people who are always happy to say hi to you, to talk to you. Everybody's always like interested in like what you're doing. You always know somebody who you can talk to, go up to, say hi. And being able to, even outside the classroom, having that experience through the performing arts to get to know people, it always just made me feel like a part of something that no matter where you are, you always have people around you, friends around you, whether it's performing arts. I had lots of friends inside and outside of the classroom, all over the place. Definitely the community and the teachers too. I would always go up to any of the teachers. I'd always feel comfortable just talking to them at any point in time, going to them after school, asking for help, or just wanting to catch up and tell them about what I'm doing. It's a very, very welcoming community. And yeah, so it's a generic answer, I know, but because the amount of people that say that means that it must be real, right? So the community surrounding it is really my favorite part of it. And also looking forward to the future, it's a very personal thing, but seeing how this drama will grow and develop, the drama department and the shows, and how like more and more people are coming in to see where we can take this and how much we can elevate that. And having a new performing arts building coming at some point in the future. I'm just very excited to see how much more the performing arts department as a whole, and especially the drama, can grow, and to see all the new people who are coming in to appreciate that side of Bergen Catholic that sometimes isn't always appreciated in the past, but I think is now definitely coming more into light and more people are recognizing it. So that's my answer.
What is the question again? What did I love
What's
about it?
one thing that you love specifically about your experience at Bergen Catholic, and what are you looking forward to most in the future?
Okay, I have to say the growth of the performing arts department has been remarkable. And I think what I can remember in the beginning when we started rehearsals, having to take us hours to learn one page of music. It would take us forever, and we'd repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And now, over the years, because we've become so consistent in the way we approach the vocal department music, the boys learn music so quickly, and we now can get beyond the notes and talk about the expression and the meaning. Because what is the purpose of music? It's to communicate to your audience what you're singing, what you're feeling. You want to make them feel something, whether it's joy, whether it's some type of dark feeling, or whether it's pure happiness. You want to make them feel. And now that the boys are coming out of themselves, I see them developing. And part of it's because of the drama department. Students who have never set foot on a stage before became part of the drama department, and they've learned to express. They've learned to become performers in their own right. So that's what I love the most, the growth. And what am I looking forward to? I have so many things. I always say that if I'm not having a good time, then how could the kids be having a good time? So it's important to me to look for new avenues. We do our competition tour. We've been to Hershey. We're going to probably go back there. I booked it already for next year. Would you believe? I did book. We will be part of the All-Male Choral Festival. We will not be hosting it next year. I believe Del Barton will be hosting it next year, or St. Peter's Prep. I'm not quite sure which one. And I meant to mention that at the All-Male Choral Festival, the Rutgers Male Glee Club has become our guest choir. That's an 80-voice, magnificent male glee club, 80 members to 100 members strong, the second oldest male glee club in the entire country, and they love singing with us, and we get to sing with them. So that's really exciting. But I always look for new things. So this year, Jamie Hillman, who's a marvelous conductor, we took the boys up to Rhode Island to Bishop Hendrick in high school a few years back, and I met Mr. Hillman, and he recently reached out to me. He's going to be doing a concert series directing Catholic high schools in New York City at Carnegie Hall. And he asked if the boys would be interested, or if I would be interested in getting the boys involved in this. And that will be my new project for this year. It's going to happen next April. And I'm really excited about it because it's a whole new avenue of expression, a whole new area to perform. And the boys can all say, I performed at Carnegie Hall. And even more important, I look forward to having so many more of my boys participate in their college choirs. I encourage them to do so. I love hearing from them. I still get videos from some of the boys saying, how does this sound, Mrs. Peraino? Am I flat? Am I going too high? I got to share this with you, Mrs. Peraino. This was the greatest experience of my whole life. I loved it so much. And you know what? It all started here. It started here. And I'm so thrilled to see them continuing it. And that's something I'm looking forward to. I want to hear from more of them. I want them to come back. I want to hear their stories. I want them to share their stories. And I want them to sing with us. We have a piece called Inscription of Hope, which has become our signature piece. It's a beautiful piece, and the boys never forget it. They never forget it. I started it the second year I came to Bergen Catholic, And we end every concert in the spring with that piece and invite all our alumni to join us. So I hope that you listening will become part of that alumni organization, of course, after you finish through Bergen Catholic. And I look forward to meeting you again. Thank you.
You. That Inscription of Hope might be my favorite memory too. Add that on top of everything else I said. Come back
Right?
for that's awesome. Anyway,
Absolutely.
Mr. Rosa, I interrupted. Finish us off.
So, Mrs. Peraino, Ryan, I want to thank you so much for this tonight. You really gave us an incredible insight on the performing arts at Bergen Catholic. I think both of you really gave a lot of information that I think only you two really have the opportunity to really dive deep into, both from the drama piece and the performing arts piece as a whole. And where our drama department has gone just in 2 years, it's absolutely amazing. And it's a testament to both of you. So I want to thank you for taking the time tonight to do this with us. I want to thank everyone for joining. And I want to thank everybody who will be watching this. Our next coffee series will be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It will be the Crusader College Counseling Experience with Ms. Beth Walter, Director of College Counseling. And that will again be at 7 p.m. And the registration for that can be found on our website. I want to thank everybody again and have a great night.